Typhoon.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a typhoon.
Blue skies. Now we see the rain clouds coming in. Already got a little rain on us. This could go wrong.
Horribly. Yeah, this could go horribly wrong. But let's try this out. See how we go.
It's worth a try. Sometimes you try and fail.
So we're gonna be talking about Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor recently got his black belts. Shout out to Demitri Telfair from the Bears Den for this idea. We had originally planned to shoot this while we were all camping. We all did a camping trip this past weekend, but we were camping too hard and we didn't get around to it. We were not in the right
We were very unprofessional.
State of mind, yes. Our minds were in chaos, so we didn't do it. But in order to be timely, wanted to still go over this topic. But once again, shout out to Demitri for this idea. Conor McGregor as a grappler, not really thought of as a grappler in the UFC. He's definitely considered a great striker. An elite striker. And funny enough that, recently he got his black belt. It caused us to look a little bit more into Conor, and most of his losses have come by submission.
Yeah, especially the big ones, Nate Diaz and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Some people think that this makes him look bad as a grappler. I don't really see it that way, because in both instances, he's fighting elite high-level grapplers. Nate Diaz is, second, third degree black belt in his own right. Khabib, technically a white belt, but one of the highest level grapplers ever.
Got choked by a white belt.
Could definitely make a run at ADCC even still if he wanted to.
For sure.
And in both of those fights, Conor was beat up on the feet, right? Especially in the Nate Diaz fight, he was rocked. You know what they say, you take a black belt in jiu-jitsu, punch him in the face, he's a brown belt, punch him again, he's a purple belt. And so by the time that choke was on, McGregor was on wobbly feet. He did a not-so-good takedown, got beat up more on the ground, gave up his back. I see no shame in that. Nate Diaz is a monster. That's more credit to Nate than a discredit to Conor.
And in the Khabib fight, Khabib, if you remember this fight, surprised a lot of people with his striking because it was expected that Conor was just going to outstrike Khabib, and Khabib surprised everybody. He landed quite a few shots.
Yeah.
He won most of the rounds just with striking.
Yeah.
And he was beating up Conor in that round, and he finished him with a choke that was on the chin, arms not fully locked in. He came like this with the elbow behind the back. Live. So he came like this. Anyways.
It's gonna keep happening.
Typhoon. Yeah, it's a typhoon, so. Or we'll just sit it a little bit on the mat.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, we're still. And we're back. Yeah, so Khabib, he was beating him up a little bit on the feet. The choke was on the chin, but we've mentioned this before in other videos. If you have a strong choke on the chin, that's not going to stop it. Like you stick your chin in to try to stop a choke. If somebody has a good squeeze, you're not going to stop the choke.
Yeah, there used to be a saying, anything under the nose is neck. Now they say anything under the eyebrows is neck.
So let's just first go over some of Conor's losses. So we have this first loss against Artemej Sitenkov, and that was a first round submission. I'm not sure what the submission is. 19 years old.
No video.
All of his submission losses have come by rear naked choke. I have to look up what the exact submission was in this fight. I'm gonna guess it's probably a rear naked choke. That seems to be his thing. Maybe it's because he has a big head. It's good to get a grip around his neck. I don't know.
And also, rear naked's like the best submission.
It is the best submission. Yeah. If you have even a high level guy, if you get their back and you get that choke locked in, there's not much you can do to escape
It's
it.
the ultimate submission.
It's
the
the
most
best.
dominant, the most strong.
It's at the top. It's at the top of the pyramid.
You
for
don't
all.
accidentally get caught in a rear naked choke.
Yeah, it's at the top of the pyramid of all grappling is the rear naked choke.
Of all martial arts, I say.
Yes, I would say, because knocking somebody out, that's hit or miss. But if you get your arms around somebody's neck, it's a good chance. It's a good chance you could put them to sleep.
Yeah, there's no lucky rear naked choke.
Let's see. So we mentioned, we didn't mention this, Joseph Duffy. So Joseph Duffy also, I believe he also went on into the UFC. And
Very strong fighter.
yes, Conor lost by, it was a choke. It looked kind of like a rear naked choke, but he had him from behind with the arm in, and Conor was choked unconscious in that. That was back in 2010. So this is quite a while ago.
Pre-UFC.
Yeah. Who else do we have? Then in the UFC, as mentioned, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was beating him up on the ground. Conor turned his back to get up, or just to not get punched in the face anymore, and Nate sank in the rear naked choke quickly. What else do we have? And then, as I mentioned, versus Khabib, with that, I'm going to call this a fulcrum choke. I'm just making that up.
Okay.
It sounds right.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And then his other losses are to Dustin Poirier, which came by striking. Dustin TKO'd him, and then the last fight against Dustin, he broke his leg, like right near the beginning of the fight. Conor threw a kick, Poirier checked it, and his leg just snapped, and he has not fought since.
Yeah.
But we also checked out some footage of Conor just rolling just in the gym, and he's his jiu-jitsu looks very, very smooth, very fluid. It would be amazing to see him try some of this in the UFC.
Or even a grappling match.
Yeah, if he did a grappling match.
Aljamain Sterling just did a match at Polaris. I'd love to see Conor do that against
How did Aljamain won? Was it a tie?
I don't think so. It was a really boring match. It was just wrestling, just snap downs and hand fighting. The ref even tried to get them going. They did this weird thing where if you have a boring match, they set you on your knees trying to get someone to pull.
Yeah.
And they're both laughing. They're like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So they just stood up, more snapping.
Polaris has some
Aljamain had a
defense.
near guillotine. That was the only exciting moment. So I think he got like a near submission point for that. Maybe he won.
Polaris has some good events. I like what they do, and I like the fact that they take UFC fighters and throw them in there.
Yeah, so I'd love to see Conor do that. I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah. So he's in his there's a match, or there's in one of his fights when I'm not sure if this is in preparation for Khabib, but there's some footage of him rolling with Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis, very high level grappler. Really nice grappler.
Yes.
So he was working with Conor for a long time, and shows them rolling. You could tell that Dylan is being a little bit nice.
It's a bit of a flow roll.
Yeah, but Conor is just showing excellent movement, very tricky, very elusive. He's just kind of flipping and rolling all around the place. In Conor's career, we have him fighting Chad Mendes. This was gonna be the fight where Conor was gonna get killed because people said, Conor is just a striker. Chad is a wrestler. Conor is gonna get smoked here. In Mendez's defense, it was a short notice fight.
Super short notice. Supposed to be Conor and Jose Aldo. And then I think it was like a week before Aldo pulled out, Chad Mendes stepped in. And so Chad Mendes was supposed to be Conor's kryptonite, but on a week notice came in, he gassed a little bit.
He looked very tired.
But it did produce one of the best grappling moments of Conor McGregor's career when Chad Mendes had him in a tight guillotine, which was kind of the trademark of Team Alpha Male, Chad Mendes' team. And Conor did a pretty amazing spin out to get back on top. This is a move I've tried over the years, and I just feel like my neck's gonna break. So there's a technique to this. It is really nice. I can't really demonstrate it.
Coach Demitri is very good at that spin because guillotine is like my bread and butter. It's like my only submission. And I remember once a while back trying to lock a guillotine on Coach Demitri, and he just did that spin out, which I was not expecting. And
such a brave move.
It is so a brave. It's kind of like the hitchhiker escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes faith in the move, which. Yeah. So yeah, Conor was able to. He got taken down. He was able to stand up, and yeah. So he never initiated any takedowns. I have not seen him initiate any grappling in his matches.
The one time with Nate Diaz when he was rocked, he shot a double leg like this. And it did not pan out, but
I don't know if that counts. I wouldn't count. I don't really. Maybe. Well, you have to count it.
He also hit one X-guard sweep on Nate Diaz. That was very nice.
Nice.
Very, very nice.
Nice. Yeah. So his defensive jiu-jitsu plays out really well because as we said, the narrative is that all you have to do is take him down and he won't be able to do anything. But
not true.
He always manages to get up in his matches.
Yeah. And to his credit, that's how it should be, right? When you're such an elite striker, your grappling should just be defensive, get back to what you're best at, which what he's best at is throwing a nuclear bomb of a left hand. So everything should be catered to that. And so it would be cool to see some jiu-jitsu, but if I was in his corner, if he was asking me for advice, I would never say, hey man, you know what you should do? You should take some risk.
Pull guard.
Nah, dude, never.
Yeah. I agree. His striking is good. His footwork is good. His timing is excellent in his striking. So I think he's doing what his strength is. And you have to also remember that the time of Royce Gracie, where you had one or a few guys that were really good at grappling, and everybody else only knows Taekwondo or only knows one other thing.
That's so
that
long
time
gone.
Is long gone. Everybody in the UFC is probably like at least purple belt or up in grappling, which if you've rolled with purple belts, it's tough. Even a blue belt is going to be better than most people. So people are coming in with great wrestling before their first match, and they're coming in with grappling defense and grappling offense. They're going to know some submissions. They're going to know setups. Everybody is coming in like this.
Yeah.
So, and it's very common for high-level strikers, even before Conor, to already have black belts in multiple disciplines, like Anderson Silva, who hardly ever grappled. He was a black belt in judo, a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Vitor Belfort. There are so many high-level grapplers throughout the league that never actually grapple.
Sure.
So, who else?
True.
Who else? So Nate Diaz was a good one. Held 2 titles after showcasing his skills against Eddie Alvarez. Ground and pound. Ground and pound, it's kind of grappling. Yeah. There's some grappling in ground and pound.
Take some situational awareness.
Yes.
Get out his guards, but
and he has
bomb on the left hand.
And he had that I forgot. We saw that submission win. He had a submission win, a rear naked choke. This was before he was in UFC as well.
Very nice. Rear naked choke. He got a body triangle on the guy, thread his foot underneath for maximum torque, bent the guy backwards. Very nice. That was many, many years ago.
So
in terms of his grappling, one big recommendation he got, one big praise he got was from Eddie Bravo on the Joe Rogan Experience many years ago. Conor McGregor was in Eddie's gym hitting a bag. Eddie goes, "Oh, what? You're here?" And Conor starts chatting and says, "Who's your best guy? I want to train with them." Goes in there with some high-level 10th Planet guys, and Eddie Bravo was very impressed, called him a super legit brown belt many years ago. And as we all know, the way you transition from brown belt to black belt is you just keep training. And so obviously Conor has done that. And so based on that alone, seeing him get a black belt's not surprising. No part of me is like shocked or like, I don't like you see some celebrities get belts and things, and sometimes it's like, all right, really? This one, I don't feel that at all. Very justified, I assume.
Yes. So
Safe assumption.
Conor, if you'd like, come roll with us.
Yes, please. Calling you out, man. I'll take you anytime. Gi, no gi, leg locks, no leg locks, IBJJF, ADCC. Pick your rule set. I'm in, Conor. Don't be scared.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your belt. Also, over this past weekend, we had another WNO. Who's number one? Who is a strange word. It should be an H.
O is number one.
Yeah, Woo number one was this past weekend. Some notable matches were from Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan versus
Patrick Gaudio.
Patrick Gaudio. We did a piece on Patrick Gaudio a while back.
Did we?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes. It was UFC, the UFC grappling thing. We did Mason Fowler.
Yeah.
Or did Mason? I can't remember. I know we talked about Patrick Gaudio before because I remember writing
He's
this.
a high-level Brazilian champion.
I remember writing this name.
Very good at his craft. And Gordon Ryan dismantled him, as only Gordon Ryan can do. Made it look easy, like he's just drilling on this guy. Passed his guard, took his back, transitioned to armbar, smooth as butter. Unbelievable.
And he also predicted it because it was written in his box. So he made a big show of bringing a box out.
Yeah, I don't like this box. I don't think anybody liked the box.
He made a big show of bringing this box out, and then inside, he has this thing where he'll like put an envelope of how he plans to finish his opponent.
Which as an idea, I like. I think
Yes.
that's okay. But the presentation of the box, the way it went down, was so lame, man. Like, you didn't have to do that at all. Sliding an envelope to the announcer is
Well,
nice.
I think probably this was like a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
I think the box was because of a sponsorship. So he had a proper 12 whiskey in there, which used to be, I think was Conor's brand. I'm not sure if he sold out of that. I believe he sold out of it.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not sure. But anyways, so he had this proper 12 whiskey sponsorship. So he had the whiskey in a box, and it says this is the proper way to do an arm bar. Kind of corny, but.
And then obviously he's trying to sell an armbar DVD, which I'm sure is fantastic.
Yes, and right. Yes.
That's reasonable.
Right after
DVD coming out, do the submission.
Yeah, right after the match, he promotes his armbar DVD. But yeah, so he predicts that he's going to win by armbar, and he does win by armbar.
Yeah, that's nice.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Gordon Ryan is. Can we say amazing again?
Amazing.
Gordon
Ryan, amazing.
I watched a video that Chael Sutton did the other day, and he mentioned something that gave me a little bit more appreciation for what Gordon Ryan has done, and is that the fact that all of these grappling matches, there is no unified rule set. So he has this record, I think from 2017, he hasn't lost, something like that.
Yeah.
But every time he steps in, the rules are different. Like sometimes it's going to be 10 minutes, sometimes it's going to be 20 minutes, sometimes it's unlimited time.
Yeah.
There's like rules of it could be rules of which submissions are allowed. There's difference in scoring. So you have like who's number one, which is like a Eddie Bravo. Is it Eddie? No. So there's the UFC, which is kind of Eddie Bravo invitational rules where they have overtimes, which means that if the match is tied at the end, somebody gets put right on your back, choke almost in, or somebody gets put into an armbar position, armbar almost completed, and you have to get out of it. So that's a different rule set.
ADCC is first takedown.
Yeah, different rule set. And he's winning in all these rule sets handily. Yeah. Which adds to how amazing that is. Like,
we could say he's amazing.
Can we say? It's pretty amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. Another armbar, a notable armbar from
Amazing
the
armbar.
amazing armbar from the HNO, the Who's number, the Who's number one was Mica Galvao. Mica Galvao is a 19-year-old phenom. He's been a phenom since before 19. He did the ADCC.
Second
Place in ADCC last year at 18 years old against men.
He lost another child, Rotolo.
Okay.
But
yeah.
On his way there,
these are also phenoms.
Yeah.
Another child phenom.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, great, amazing flying armbar, which is extra amazing to me in no gi.
Yeah.
The flying armbar in gi, which I learned years ago, which I wouldn't attempt anymore, is where you have the gi to grip onto, and you're kind of hanging off of the lapel and the sleeve a little bit, but with no gi, you're just launching yourself into the air.
Yeah, he was able to do it because he had a strong overhook.
Yeah.
But still, like, we're not demonstrating that move here.
Yeah, you're still
I'm not gonna break that one down.
You're slippery without it, or you're slippery without the gi. You have to be able to just launch yourself into the air. And he completed the flying armbar. He kind of landed on the back of his head a little bit,
which is why I won't do it.
They started to invert and flip around, and he was able to finish the armbar in a side-mounted position, which was a pretty incredible finish. I love seeing stuff like that. Sometimes grappling is super boring. Often, mostly, almost 90% of the time.
Not when Mica Galvao does it.
Yeah, but seeing high-level finishes, seeing a lot of movement is very exciting. So Mica Galvao is very good for that. The Rotolo brothers are very good for that. Gordon Ryan doesn't do that. He stops his opponent's movement, which is what you need to do to win.
Yeah.
But it's
very practical.
It's super practical, super high level. But for excitement, Mica, Rotolo brothers, they have the most exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of Gordon and Mica, one more thing is, well, Gordon was never suspended because he's always been like, I use steroids and I'm not
he
competing.
takes tournaments that don't test.
Yeah. He doesn't. He says, steroids are not illegal in jiu-jitsu, so I'm not competing in any competition that doesn't allow steroids. Mica Galvao, which is crazy to me that he's so young and had already been on steroids, like retroactively lost his 2022 ADCC. ADCC doesn't care. No, ADCC doesn't care. But his IBJJF championship title was stripped. So if you look at his title, there's a strike through it right now because he was retroactively tested for steroids. And I'm not sure how I feel about this. Like, IBJJF is recently trying to clean up their steroid thing. Like, jiu-jitsu is notoriously, it's like an open secret that guys use steroids in it.
Do you think I should start using steroids? Would you recommend it?
It's not gonna hurt your. It'll be good for your jiu-jitsu for sure, but beyond jiu-jitsu, I don't know if it's good. If it's good for your lifespan.
Oh really? So is that the concern?
That's my concern. My concern is lifespan. I don't know of 100-year-olds that people that have lived to 100 that have done many cycles of steroids. So
about one cycle.
Maybe, I don't know.
Just for a YouTube video.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the steroid expert. I do watch. I'm super fascinated by them. So I watch a lot of videos about like dosages and how it affects you, and it's very interesting to me. But it's not something that I've done. I don't know if, who knows in the future, but I don't think it wouldn't be like a performance thing. Maybe just as you get older, hormone replacement. But I still feel pretty good. So
I've thought about it like as we go down this path, it's possible one future is we open up a gym and go full on teaching every day and working out in the gym. And I kind of thought it would be kind of responsible to start doing steroids so I could show up better.
Yes.
What do you think of this? Is that reasonable?
It's reasonable because we want to be king of the mat
A little bit, yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
Or at least be focused, energized.
It is reasonable.
More for recovery.
It is reasonable.
And one of the benefits, recovery.
Benefits, yeah. Recovery is a big benefit. Just being able to train more often. Injury, it mitigates injury. But like I said, there's a trade-off with everything. So I don't know the how the trade-off goes. Like I said, there are a few YouTubers that I watch that are very into HRT, hormone replacement therapy, which is also kind of strange to me a little bit because you can replace your testosterone with a certain dosage of testosterone, but become more jacked than your natural state ever was because you're maintaining it at a steady level where testosterone is up and down throughout the day. But anyways.
So that's more recommended?
That's the thing. That's like the new hot thing is hormone replacement therapy. But it's a word that I think is abused because I think sometimes you could just be on juice.
Okay.
And claim hormone replacement. As well.
I don't know where these lines are.
Yes.
The line between supplements, hormones, and anabolic steroids. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's something that
So everybody's on something.
if you do it, I would recommend, if you can, go through a doctor because you don't want to do too much. I don't really recommend you do any of it if you can manage to stay in shape otherwise, and you have no particular health issues. I mean, if you're really trying to be a professional jiu-jitsu fighter, maybe. I mean, you have.
Maybe you should be open about it. Is that kind of because people get caught?
I kind of.
Oh no!
I like how Gordon Ryan does it.
Yeah.
Like I like the fact that he's not trying to hide it. I love that. I love that that there's no. He's not secretive about it. That
He doesn't deny it.
he doesn't deny it.
Yeah.
You can't openly say
Don't
it.
lie.
You can't He cannot openly say, "I do steroids.
Yeah.
I do this much," because he's a role model, and that's kind of just by him saying exactly what he does becomes a recommendation.
Yeah.
And
That's probably really expensive what he does.
probably
He's like a rich guy.
yeah, and it's like the legal. It's legal in most. It's illegal in most places. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Admitting that. Openly admitting to using an illegal substance,
Yeah.
he can't do that.
That put his doctors in bad position.
It's just not a good idea.
Okay.
Like you're not gonna, openly admitting some illegal activity in detail. I don't, unless you have a counter recommendation, leave that in the comments. I don't see any.
What illegal activities are you up to?
Yeah, I don't see.
Let us know.
I don't see what's a good idea about it. Completely unrelated, but illegal. Recently, there was I can't remember his name. The guy that killed Tupac, or somebody involved in the murder of Tupac was recently indicted because he has like a book deal. He's been going around giving interviews saying he's been in the car. He was in the car with the shooters, things like that. So this is what I mean. Like, if you're involved in something illegal, it doesn't make sense to just open your mouth about it. Not that Gordon Ryan killed Tupac.
You heard it here first. He was in the car.
But yeah. So the whole steroid thing in jiu-jitsu, it is very. You can see it. Like I've seen it even at low level competitions.
Yeah.
You see the look, the juicy look.
And even in Taiwan, I know some guys. Not gonna name them, but if I have matches with them, maybe I'll name them. If it comes up, why not?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. It's a thing for, especially around young men. There's pressure to, even if you're not an athlete, there's pressure to just look a certain way, to look manly. But when you're involved in something like grappling, you feel when you are weaker than somebody. To be physically overpowered by somebody is just, it's not a good feeling. And even if, like, especially if you're already working out and you're trying your best, and then for somebody to just steamroll you, and you know it's because this guy is just way stronger than me, which is it's something that men, it's in a man's world, this is an important thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about the open steroid use in jiu-jitsu, and I don't know how I feel about IBJJF retroactively or trying to clean up their sport.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's like a spotty system, right? Like you can get through, and they don't test everybody because it'd be too expensive. It's not enough money in the sport. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be forever controversial, and it's just something we got to keep thinking about. And everyone's got to look in their own heart, see would you do it? And you know, I don't really look down on other guys for doing it. You know.
I mean, it is literally cheating.
Is it?
If it's, I would say, if you're in, let's say you're in a sport like jiu-jitsu. Oh, if you're in a
typhoon got us.
Typhoon. if you're in a sport like jiu-jitsu where it's kind of, hold on. If you're in a sport like jiu-jitsu where it's kind of out in the open, it's kind of allowed, then I wouldn't necessarily call it cheating. But let's say you are in the IBJJF. Now it would be cheating. Now that they've kind of established that this is not allowed, then it is cheating. That is cheating. If you're in an MMA league like UFC, where they're pretty adamant about not allowing steroid use and you find a way to sneak through, it is cheating, but I can understand the motivation for the cheating because this can lead to great riches and fame. So
yeah, I remember there was a time when the UFC allowed TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and it was some of the best fights we've ever seen. Right,
yes.
Vitor Belfort had such a career resurgence as TRT tour, and it was awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah, TRT Vitor.
We love to see it.
Yes, we did love to see it, but that was also that's also that crossing the line, because eventually his levels were way above what would be considered TRT. So the phrase or the term TRT is kind of tricky because you are replacing the hormone, but you're replacing it with a higher, steadier state of testosterone. So men that are usually on TRT will probably become more muscular than they've ever been before. So
it's pretty good if you're like a 45-year-old fighter.
Yeah.
You got all this knowledge, but your body's not working so well.
Yeah.
And you get juiced up and come back and kill everybody.
Yes.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the use of it in certain sports. But as Gordon says, in jiu-jitsu, steroid use is not illegal, and we can see that if you compete enough in jiu-jitsu, you're going to notice like that guy's on
way bigger.
Yeah, that guy's on something. That guy's on something. That guy's on something. In MMA, I would say it's probably even more prevalent because the stakes are so much higher. You lose a jiu-jitsu tournament, you could still go to work the next day. You might be a little bit sore, but you lose an MMA match, you might be knocked out. You
might never recover from that.
You could have serious brain damage. So yeah, in MMA, like I said, the stakes are higher there. Getting punched in the face by somebody who's enhanced is not the same to me as getting choked out by someone who's enhanced.
Yeah.
Even though the choke will come on faster and stronger, but it's not going to do the damage that a punch or a kick is going to do to you.
Yeah.
So
definitely. The brain damage factor is different.
I think that's good.
We all done? What do we do now? Fight to the death?
Yeah, let's warm up.
Warm up a little bit?
Warm up a little bit, then fight.
We warm up like this.
All right. Oh the rain seems to have calmed
Yeah.
for now.
Typhoon missed us.
Now we roll. Here we go. Oh, sitting in that position. Makes me move. It's back a little bit.
You're in Taipei, October 14th, next Saturday. Rubber guard workshop. Get at me. Come. Learn magic.
If you're a junior high school student, join my jiu-jitsu class Thursdays. Okay, let's go. Hello.
Show the people our new moves. Standing there, look. Bit of a risky move.
neck exercise.
I'll be right back.
Do you need the microphone to go pee with?
No.
All right, we'll be right back. It's kind of strange having a live camera out here for the one guy that's watching. Is that me? Maybe I'm the one guy that's watching. Anyways. Great.
And I'm back. what time?
He goes soon.
Okay.
He comes in at 40.
Oh, yeah?
Here, yeah. Give like 5 more minutes.
Oh, Sept time. Sept.
I can't figure out that. The body looks.
Oh, it gets me. It's gonna be impossible.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Don't subscribe. Please don't like. Please don't subscribe.
Come to Taipei. Train with us.
Yes. Let us know.